On the call. Cool. We're live. We'll just wait for a few more seconds, about 35 seconds, 30 seconds for Chrissy to come in, and then I will introduce you folks. So, Alessio, how's the situation in Rome now?
Yeah, the situation. What do you mean the situation through the coronavirus?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's okay.
It's okay because my sister lives in Rome, and I think.
Yeah, really?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. The lockdown is finished here.
Yeah, I think they're experiencing a second wave. That's what she was telling me.
Yeah, but actually the numbers are okay.
Okay. Good.
So, yeah.
Good. So let me start, guys. We cannot wait any further. All right. Good morning to Lindzi and Nish, and good evening or good afternoon to Alessio. Thank you very much for coming over today for sharing your fabulous views on this F&B Summit. This is the last session of our 7-day long summit. Let me introduce the woman on the panel first, the Marshmallow woman, Lindzi. She started a Marshmallow Cafe in 2017. Marshmallow are being loved by everybody, and she has inert love for marshmallows. And she's a CEO and co-founder. She's a co-founder and CEO of XO Marshmall, or do you call it XO Marshmall? We will learn more from you. She's a whimsical gourmet marshmallow company that focuses on delivering perfectly packed marshmallows across the US. She opened her first cafe in 2017. Thank you very much, Lindzi, for coming over this morning and for sharing your views, and for your time. Thank you so much. Alessio is a guy who is basically from Rome, Italy, and he loves to make US people taste his Italian foods like vinegar, sausages, pastas, oil, and all those things he imports from Italy and in the US and sells across the US. He is a founder of Magnificio Food. Along with selling, he has a lot of delicate recipes which he is a guardian of, and he loves storytelling, fun facts. He adds his lot of his food with a lot of stories and fun and cultural highlights he tries to bring in while he's selling his Italian stuff in the US. Thank you very much, Alessio, for coming.
Thank you, Amit.
Yep. Thank you very much. Nish or Nishchal Banskota is carrying the legacy of Nepal Tea, which was started by his father in 1984, 36 years back. He loves tea. He's sporting a tea right now as well, and he's a 36-year-old business which he is running, and he joined the business approximately 4 years back. He grows organic and healthy tea plants, along with free housing and education are some of his interests. He is very, very passionate about social causes, working for poor, working socially for not so privileged class, if I may say so. The core philosophy of his company is community building and social enterprising. He loves building communities, and he is not just a guy who wants to sell stuff to people. He loves building communities and bringing people together and working for them and working for their benefit. That's a great cause, Nish. Thank you very much for coming over. Let me ask the first question to Lindzi. Lindzi, what's your why? Why are you in the marshmallow business? What made you start this business, and why are you so passionate about marshmallows?
Sure. So my business partner actually started making the marshmallows before we met, and she was selling them at a pop-up shop that I was running for a clothing store that I had started. And as the pop-up shop kept going, these marshmallows kept flying off the shelves. And someone who's really passionate about marketing and branding, and I have a background in psychology, I was really curious as to why the marshmallows were flying off the shelves so much. And the more I talked with customers, the more it was this idea of nostalgia combined with joy. So bringing something that they loved as kids, whether that's s'mores or hot chocolate, and bringing it into today with elevated flavors and elevated packaging and branding, all while getting this gift that really brought them a lot of joy. So I asked her if I could be her business partner, and we have been, hitting the ground running ever since for the last 4 years. And I like to say we're the perfect marriage because she's really passionate about the food side of things and creating this perfectly delicious, scrumptious, amazing treat. My why is more about that feeling that it creates when people are enjoying it. So I'm very passionate about creating this wonderful mindset of nostalgia, but today, and really emphasizing on joy and happiness. And I think that's something we can all use a little more of right now, and figuring out how we can use something as simple as a marshmallow and using it as an opportunity to talk a little bit more about mental health and creating this joyful experience.
Excellent, wonderful. That's a great thought, bringing people sweetness in their life through marshmallows, and making them talk about marshmallows while you bring in some sweetness in their lives. Uh, Lindsay, what are your sales channels, like online versus offline? Do you use Amazon or like say Magento, Shopify, or offline? What's your sales distribution?
Sure. So we do about 60% online, about 30% in the cafe, and 10% wholesale, but our wholesale is very quickly growing this year. We do use Shopify for the majority of our online sales. We are on Amazon as well, but we do self-fulfillment, not Amazon fulfillment. And then our cafe, we've got one physical location.
Why do you avoid Amazon fulfillment?
So because we don't use any preservatives in our products, our marshmallows have a relatively short shelf life. It's 10 weeks, which seems like a long time for no preservatives, but most large companies or FBA distribution, they want a shelf life of at least 6 months. So by doing fulfillment in-house, we're still able to meet the customers who want to go through Amazon without worrying about the spoilage of, if we send Amazon, 1,000 cases of marshmallows, they might expire or they might be sitting in a hot warehouse.
Excellent. So that's the good learning. If your shelf life is less than 6 months, guys, you might wanna look at fulfilling the orders yourself instead of using Amazon. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah.
Excellent. Thank you so much, Lindsay. I'll come back to you, circle back to you in a moment. Thank you very much for giving us a context of your business, your sales channels, your ideas, and your views. Thank you so much. Alessio, tell us why you're doing what you're doing.
It's a good question. So thank you for that. The aim of the project, of Magnifico project, is reflects my vision on it. So the aim is to bring to United States the authentic Italian food and beverage. So we want to contrast the Italian sounding, so the Italian fakes products that are all around the world. At the same time, we want to communicate the right contents. So we generally use the products that we sell on Magnifico Food to produce contents for our blog, for our recipes. So we wanna teach, we wanna inform our customers how to use in the proper way all the products that they buy. And third, selling to the right price. I mean, we are disruptive in terms of supply chain, so we don't have middlemen in our supply chain, because we buy from the producers, we import directly to United States all the products, and we sell the products directly to the end consumers. So we don't have distributors, importers, agents in the middle. It allows us to be competitive with the final price, because our final price is really cheap comparing to the traditional price that you can find in the retail stores.
Great, excellent model. So in absence of a distribution channel in the US, what issues do you face? I'm sure there are pros and cons of using a distribution channel. Now you are the only guy who is importing stuff and managing distribution across the US. US is a big country. People who are doing this e-commerce business of importing and selling D2C in the US, why should they not have distribution channels, and why should they have distribution channels?
It depends. I mean, it depends of the products that you sell. We sell just artisanal and premium Italian food. So we don't sell industrial products. If you have an industrial product, maybe you are obliged to go to sell to the GDO, to the traditional retail chain, just because you need to be competitive also on the quantitative of the products that you import and resell in the market. In our scenario, I mean, we are obliged in the opposite way. We sell premium food. So we are not interested in the quantitative. We are interested in the quality of the products that we sell. So the online, the e-commerce is the right channel for our dimension, for our project.
So you use Shopify. Which platform do you use?
We use Shopify.
Shopify. All right. Excellent. And what percentage of your business is on Shopify vis-a-vis offline?
Actually, we are 100% on Shopify. I mean, we just sell online.
Excellent. That's a good model to have. We will talk more about it. Why did you choose to be 100% online, which is very aggressive? I'm sure it's a part of your strategy. It's by design and not by default. We will come back to you on that question after I
okay.
talk with
Thank you.
Thank you very much for your time this morning. Nish, why did you choose to carry the legacy of your father, of running a tea company which is 36-year-old?
Sure. Yeah, first of all, Lindzi, amazing story. And Alessio, I think we have so much in similar in terms of doing the things that we're doing. So a couple of things come to mind. The first thing is we take all of our food and beverages for granted. I am guilty of it. I'm sure some of you are, and the majority of the people in the world are. Nobody knows where their beverage, like if you give an example of tea, nobody knows where it's coming from. That's one problem. That in terms of the consumer behavior, what happens is if you don't know where your food or tea, let's say in this case, is coming from, you're essentially allowing unwarranted middlemen to reap the benefits of the farmers. Being in a tea farming family, I've seen firsthand, the tea traders or brokers or middlemen and even executives of tea companies earn millions of dollars, while the farmers, who are the main producers of tea, live for less than $2 a day, which is below the poverty line. And that's around the world in every single major tea producing countries. And that's not fair. And 80% of the value for tea is created in the supply chain with the middlemen. And what we basically do is we cut out all the middlemen, bring our teas directly from our farm and distribute it to the wholesalers, to the bigger tea companies, which rebrand it sometimes, but most of the time they say where it's coming from, right? At least they have that. So we're cutting out all the middlemen and bringing that chunk to the farmers and improving their living standards. And my vision basically is to get all of the tea farmers, at least in Nepal and some other parts of the world, to get them out of poverty within their generation. And that
Excellent.
might take 10 years, that might take 15, but that's kind of like the vision of the company. And it's just starting with tea, but it can really go on to any other spices or herbs or any other products that you can think of. So that's kind of like the reason that I really decided was to get into this business, was because it's broken. It's I get furious in terms of knowing the whole industry and the big chain that's there, which is so unfair. And that's what I want to solve.
Excellent. I mean, uh, that's a very strong why, Nish. I'm so glad you could carry on your father's legacy, bringing people out of poverty who truly deserve their remuneration, their incentive, their money for growing this fabulous tea. That's a very strong why. Connecting them to that consumers, cutting out the middlemen, very very noble cause. And while you are serving these people and trying to bring them out of poverty, you will of course thrive. They say if you have a businessman or entrepreneurs like yourself, guys, uh, if you guys are thinking of giving back, for example, all of you are giving back. You're trying to cut middlemen. You're trying to make people happy. Linda is trying to make people happy. Nish is trying to bring out people from poverty. Alessio wants the US people to taste the authentic Italian foods and raw materials, and also giving them recipes how to use those. If we know our why very well, and if we have the objective of giving back to the people we are using our ecosystem, the stakeholders, the farmers, the people are producing these things, a very strong why, a very strong vision helps us go a long way. I'm so glad I'm with the panel who have excellent and very strong vision and a very strong why. Thank you very much for coming over. So Nish, we didn't talk about your sales channel. So you're talking about wholesale and big tea companies. What about online?
Yeah, so a couple of things. What we were basically almost like 70% wholesale until the pandemic. So that was our basic business model. We were supplying directly to tea shops and tea bars so that they could actually brew the tea and serve to customers, talking about the story and talking about those teas. We were not really focused on direct to consumers, but that was our end goal. That has always been our end goal, right? So we were kind of funding the direct to consumers model through our wholesale business. But pandemic hit, 80% of the wholesale customers, they paused basically because they were just not able to open. That gave us a little more time and energy to actually focus on direct to consumers. And the response has been amazing. We tripled our sales on direct to consumers just within those pandemic time, within like the 3 months. And that gave us a validation saying, hey, this is actually, we need to pursue this even more aggressive. And that's where we are going right now. Currently, you could say about 60% of the sales is still through wholesale, but 40% would be direct to consumers.
Okay, so that's online Shopify.
Yes.
Excellent, excellent. One of my friends was having tea a couple of weeks back, and he asked me, Amit, what will happen if this cup of tea falls on your shirt? I said, my shirt will get dirty. He said, no, your shirt will become a t-shirt. Uh, bad one, but still. Okay, so 40% on Shopify, great, excellent. So, Lindsay, what are your favorite apps on Shopify?
Gosh, we use a lot of apps on Shopify. The one I'm really loving right now is the new Facebook integration that allows people to purchase from Facebook or Instagram without ever leaving Facebook or Instagram, and we still get the orders processed through our Shopify. That one's really convenient for us. We also use Privy a lot, so Privy helps us get all of our newsletter signups, and it gives me a nice little bit of information about who's seeing the newsletter pop-ups, when they're seeing them, who's actually following through, and that integrates with our MailChimp so that we can send out marketing newsletters. I used to really love, I forget what the app is called, but it let you design a little bit more in Shopify if you weren't a coder, which when we were first starting out was really great for me because I was doing all of our website stuff, and it allowed me a lot more adaptability. See if I can't figure out what it's called real fast. It's called Shogun. That's what it's called.
What's it called?
Shogun. It's SHOGUN.
Okay.
Now we're moving to having a web designer completely redo everything for us, so it's not as important. But if you're starting out and you don't have the money for a website developer, it allows you to do a lot more things than you would be able to do if you weren't experienced in coding.
Excellent. So are you guys funded, Lindzi?
Are we funded?
Yeah.
Self-funded.
Self-funded. So are you? I'm imagining you are profitable, because for how long can you be bootstrapping?
Yeah, no, we're cash flow positive right now, which is wonderful. Kat and I started the business each with $100 in a bank account, and we've been able to grow it from there. We opened our cafe with a Kickstarter, which is great, but self-funded besides that.
Excellent, very good. So, Lindzi, did you ever think of going to an investor?
We've talked about it. For us, it's really going to be about finding a strategic investor. Our whole concept of a marshmallow cafe is such a new and innovative idea. So we don't want to find somebody who's just going to hand us money. We want to find somebody that sees the long-term strategic vision. They always say when you own a business and you take on an investor, all of a sudden you do have a boss in a weird way. Even though they technically aren't your boss, you still are responsible for making sure that you get them their money back and that, their investment in you makes sense. So they start putting in a lot more input than you would originally expect them to. So if we're going to take on somebody that's going to start putting not only money, but input into our company and our vision, we want to make sure we find somebody that strategically fits with our goals and our personality and our company.
Makes sense. Great. Excellent. Thank you very much. Alessio, you look like a very tough guy. You look like somebody who runs a boxing academy. How come you are into food?
Why in the food?
Yep.
Well, Magnifico Food is not my primary business. It's a side business for me. I'm involved more in the internationalization of small and medium Italian companies all around the world. So I'm a consultant. So I'm specialized in export management. So I help the Italian companies to make business abroad.
Okay.
And what I see, what I saw in the United States, that's why I started with my business, that the distribution of the food was really traditional. So I just thought to be disruptive on it, especially in the supply chain. That's why I decided to set up the business with Magnifico Food.
Mm-hmm. So this concept of not just selling ingredients, but also telling people how to use these ingredients to make very fancy, very lovely Italian delicacies. How did this concept come to your mind, especially when Magnificio is not your core business, so to say?
Well, I think was normal thinking how to promote my products, and the promotion, also the cheaper promotion that you can do with your products is making contents with them. I mean, the secret right now is the storytelling, and of course I have a lot of stories to tell to my customers, because behind each single products there's a story, the story of the Italian producer that makes those products. So it was pretty easy for me thinking how to promote the products through the contents. Okay. And of course, the social network, Google and everything helps us to promote the contents in the proper way, in the right way. So
are you just selling in the US or are you also targeting more countries?
Well, we are thinking to set up the same business in Europe. The Magnifico food at the moment is only in the US. The future will be also in Europe and maybe in Asia.
What's your customer base, if I can ask that? How many people shop from you every month?
Well, there's a data that is really interesting with us, that we have 60% of customers that repeats the shopping every month. So that is a good percentage for us, because imagine that we had the first sale in November 2019. Okay, so less than 1 year ago. And so for me is maybe the main important goal is to have habitual customers, so people that buy on our platform every month. Okay, so this is what I'm investing right now. So that is my most important goal right now.
Alessio, you chose to be 100% on Shopify on your own website. You chose not to be in the food stores, not to be in the wholesale, not to be on Amazon. Why?
Well, because I'm a retailer. I'm not a broker. I'm not a reseller. I'm not a middleman. I want to be. Well, I think that the customer on Amazon is a little bit different on the customer that I want to service with Magnifico. On Magnifico, you can you can buy and do shopping, buying different products. So you can buy different items. So you can do your food shop on Magnifico Food. We have more than 300 SKU code right now. When you buy on Amazon, I think that maybe you are more interested in one product and you wanna stock it. So you wanna buy that product at the best price. That it means having the best unit price. It means to buy a stock of products. So I think that the customer is a little bit different right now. And the customer on Amazon, I suppose that is more focused on the price. I want customers that are more focused on quality and contents and making an experience navigating on Magnifico Food.
Excellent. Makes sense. Nish, are you selling on Amazon?
Yes.
Why somebody should not sell on Amazon?
If they do not have a healthy margin, and also if your products are not, I think, just to be very technical on this, if you do not have a healthy profit margin, and also if your products are less than $10, it kind of like does not make sense to sell on Amazon. But apart from that, I think I would highly recommend people to sell on Amazon, because with the FBA fulfillment, I think you get a lot of traction. And believe it or not, when people are searching on Amazon, they're actually the buying behavior of the people is very much so, because I guess the conversion rate is almost at 40 to 50% on Amazon, because people come to Amazon knowing what they want to buy, rather than they come to your shop maybe just to browse. But when people are searching on Amazon, they're there to buy it. So the conversion rate is really high to miss for me. So I'm really banking on Amazon as well.
What is your what I'm suggesting is when people come on Amazon, they have really strong intent to buy. And that's why if they go to other websites, like let's say your own website, they're just browsing stuff. So
Yep.
that's a very good, and you should have good margins. So if I can ask you, how much does Amazon take you? Does Amazon charge you per order, or does it charge you a percentage of your cost or product cost? How do they charge?
So what happens is if you need to be on FBA, fulfillment by Amazon, you need to have a professional account. That's about $40 per month. That's a completely separate fee. And then there's a percentage which could nearly go from anywhere from 20 to 25%, including the shipping that they do. So you should have at least that much to give away to Amazon of sales. Of,
20 to 25% of your sales amount, you're saying.
yes,
That's a lot.
it is a lot. Yeah. I guess when you're thinking about Amazon, you're thinking about expanding into the broader audience, which will never come to your website unless they know that, right? But when you're thinking on, when you go to Amazon and, for example, type in black tea or tea, Nepali tea, or we will be the first results there, right? So even without knowing the brand, people actually come to your product and buy your product. While if you had to come to my website, you would have to know my brand, or you would have to know that you're searching for Nepali tea, right? So I guess that's kind of like the difference. So I really value just the exposure that I get from Amazon.
Excellent. That's a great learning from you, Nish. Let me ask one poll question to you guys at the moment. I'll launch a poll so that you can answer it. I'll allow you to answer it. That's the question on your screen. When you're selling online, guys, do you know which customers will never come back? I repeat, when you're selling online, do you know which customers are never going to come back to you? I'll end the poll in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. 60% people do not know that which customers they will lose. Lindsay, what was your answer? When you're selling
I'm,
on,
I'm the person that said yes.
you say yes, you know.
Yeah.
What do you know? What do you do to know that these folks are never going to come back?
So we use a combination of our Shopify analytics and our MailChimp analytics to see who is interacting with our customers. We also use our Facebook advertising analytics as well. And we're able to extrapolate from those who will come back and who won't. And then we can retarget our ads based on not who will not come back or who's a major customer, but someone who's right there in the middle.
So you spoke about 3 types of analytics: Shopify analytics, your MailChimp analytics, your Facebook analytics, to understand which customers are never coming back. If I can ask you a follow-up question, what do you check in this analytics that tells you these are 10 folks, these are 10 customers never gonna come back? What tells you that out of from these 3 analytics?
So all 3 of them have a customer retention analytic.
Okay, individually, so they are telling you that these folks are not buying or not looking at your emails. Let's say MailChimp will say that. Facebook would say perhaps these folks are clicking, or perhaps you're not even clicking on your ads or clicking on your products. Is that the method you're using?
Yes.
Excellent. Guys, this is to be recorded. You must know these techniques. I'll also tell you one technique which Inalto uses to tell you how you can identify which customers you're about to lose and how to retain them. Nish, what was your answer?
Yeah, I said I don't know. The only reason being, I know the customer persona of my customers, right? So I know these are the people that are going to come back for sure. And we have a subscription model as well, so that gives a lot more information as well. But somebody who has bought from me, and has had good reviews, sometimes do not buy. And I don't know the answer for that. So I don't know.
Alessio.
I answer yes. I mean, I suppose yes. I mean, I I use the same analytics. So Shopify, Facebook, Google. So we study every day all the analytics, and I think I know that maybe someone who is interested to buy something in particular, he arrives on Magnifico and he finds the product that he's looking for. Most of the times the clients that don't buy on Magnifico food is because they don't know the products, they don't know how to use the products, they don't understand the products, and maybe because the products are still too expensive, even if we sell without middlemen. Because when you do quality, when you sell premium food, the problem is always the final price, because you find the pasta at the retail at Walmart, that is a retail physical store, and you pay, I don't know, $1, and on Magnifico you find pasta at $7. So maybe for the customer is always pasta, and maybe he doesn't understand why there are $6 of difference between Walmart and Magnifico. At the end, no, the decision is not to buy the products on Magnifico because it's too expensive. Maybe the reason, I think the reason most of the times is this.
Okay, interesting. At Inalito, we got a tool, Shopify tool or Shopify app, which is being used by about 25 customers in the US. They're selling wines and toys and whatnot. And what we do is, how do we identify which customers you're losing is by doing this. We have a matrix called RFM, recency, frequency, monetary. Recency is how recently a customer shopped from you, 5 days back, 10 days back, 20 days back, 100 days back. Frequency, how frequently a customer has been coming to your store to buy your products. And then M, monetary, how much money a customer has been spending with you in the last 6 months, in the last 12 months. Based upon RFM matrix, we're able to identify which are your VIP customers, which customers you're about to lose, which customers you might lose next month, which are your loyal customers, so your potentially loyal customers, and we're able to identify these are 200 customers you are about to lose because the recency score is very low. They shot from you 6 months back. They did not. They only came 3 times in last 1 year, and they only spent this much money. Based upon RFM, we are able to tell you which customers you're about to lose and what should you send them, what offer should you send them, which is being sent from Inalito's platform, that you can bring them back on your site, that because these people have not been coming to my site, if I send this, our engine will recommend send this product to them and they will come back. That was the intention. So excellent. So now let me launch my second poll question. Yep. I will be following up these questions with more questions. Are you getting enough ROI from your digital marketing ad spend? So you guys might be doing Facebook ads, Google ads, other kind of ads. Are you happy with your ROI? I'll end the poll. All right. So 80% people are not happy with the spend. Lindzi, where do you spend your marketing dollar? Which channel?
Most of our digital marketing dollars go to Facebook and Instagram.
What about SEO and content marketing?
We don't do a ton of content marketing because we have a very Instagrammable and social media friendly brand. We get a lot of content marketing without paying for it, which is really, really great. We get a lot of people who want to come into our cafe to take pictures with it. Our food is very visual. So people will come take photos of it and post to social. So we're getting a lot of unpaid content marketing without doing anything, which is nice. SEO, we haven't really focused a ton on. I have enough understanding of SEO when originally building our website that I could integrate that in myself. And when you do search gourmet marshmallows, we are the first company that pops up.
Oh, excellent. Wonderful. That's a great thing. So how many people are following you on Insta and on Facebook?
On Facebook, a little over 15,000, almost 16,000. On Instagram, 54,000.
Cool. All right. Excellent. Thank you very much. One more question to you before I move to Nish. If let's say you are making $100 in revenue, what should be the budget for ad spend?
We look at it less as how much money you're making should you be spending on ads, and I focus more on my ROAS, so my return on ad spend. If I've got an ad that has a really great ROAS, I put more money into it. That just makes the most sense to me. You know, a really common Facebook return on ad spend is like 1 in 2 or 1 in 3, and we have ads that are 1 in 45. So those are the ones that I keep putting money into because I know they perform really well for us.
Mm-hmm. Excellent. Cool. Nish, where do you buy your customers from?
So a lot of it is word of mouth, and a lot of it is actually SEO. And we do a special partnership with a couple of different companies. What they do for us is subscription companies. Tea is something people do not really want to buy until you've tasted it, right? So food products in general, it's kind of like if you can give them a taste of that, they would come back if they like it, right? So what we do is we partner with subscription companies. So we send them like smaller sample sizes, and they are the ones who are sending it out to a lot of other customers, a lot of their customers. And that is the first point of contact with our brand from the end consumers, where they actually taste the product and they come to our website to actually make a purchase. And for all of our social follows and everything, we get a lot of traffic from a couple of these subscription companies that we partner with.
Mm-hmm. Subscription companies. So can you tell us a little more about it, and if why somebody should not use a subscription company or use a subscription company?
It really depends on what kind of business you are, obviously. Ours is more like the customers. I want customers to interact with my product first. I don't want somebody to basically come and just, buy it out of a whim and then never think about it. As I told you, like my whole proposition is that people need to know what teas they're drinking. And if people just buy from my website, they're thinking, oh, it's Nepal tea, and then just drink it and then don't even think about it. That's not the real customer that I'm looking for. I want people who buy from my website, see the labels, read the labels, read what we do, interact with the products. So that kind of are the customers that I'm looking for. So for subscription company do just that. They give you enough information to introduce you to a lot of different products. And then if people actually come to our website, we retain a lot of them because they were introduced to us by a different company. They like the product so much that they want a full-size product and they come to our website. So we're really retaining a lot of our customers that way. Does that make sense? Does that answer your question?
Yes, absolutely. Yes, makes sense. Alessio, where do you spend your dollar?
We split the budget half and half on Google and Facebook, Instagram. But we were burned just 9 months ago, so the metrics are a little bit different from the others panelists. I mean, actually, yes, we split the budget half and half.
Mm-hmm. So SEO and content?
Yeah, we produce all the contents and we promote the contents through different campaigns every month.
Every month. Okay. All right.
Yeah, we change the campaigns and generally we promote each different campaigns for 4 weeks.
Excellent. So, Alessio, you are 100% on Shopify. Which are your favorite Shopify apps?
I use and I find very useful the chatbots.
Chatbot.
Yes, the GoBot, the name of the app, and then there's a Yotpo that is useful for the reviews.
For
So the
reviews.
for the reviews by the customers. And
Mhm.
also I'm looking for an interaction with my customers too. I mean, it's one of my goal is to interact with my customers, to explain them how to use the products. And I love when they write to me asking how to use the products or when a products will be refill again because at that moment is out of stock.
Very nice. Excellent. So, Alessio, are you funded? Are you bootstrapping?
No, I don't think that we are bootstrapping right now. We are growing up very slowly each month.
Mm-hmm. So,
And this is what I want. I mean, I'm not looking for external investors, for example. I just want to grow up slowly.
mm-hmm. Why?
Well, because maybe I'm not looking for an external traditional investor, someone who wants to make money very fast on this project. This project doesn't give money back very fast. We are investing in a long-term view. And so I just want to find someone maybe that is in the food industry, in the retail food industry, could be a right partner, someone who has the same vision of me, someone who loves the project, loves the aim of the project, without thinking or without putting at the first goal, how to make money with this project. I'm thinking that is my final goal will be the exit, a partial exit on this project. So I want to set up the business. I want to launch the project in the next future, and maybe in 4, 5, 6 years, thinking on an exit.
Mm-hmm. Excellent. Wonderful. That's a great strategy to have, not to bring in investors at the moment and keeping full control, so that your company you are the one, or your co-founder are the ones who are making decisions for the company, so that your exit becomes smooth. That's a good strategy. Nish, you have a bigger objective of putting money into farmers' pocket, and also you are forced to use Amazon that takes 25% of your margins. Big tea companies, I'm sure, also rip you off of your margins. How do you balance your bigger vision to put the money in farmers' pocket, and at the same time paying these big corporates, Jeff Bezos and other making them richer what they already are? How do you balance this equation?
Yeah, it's difficult, but you have to be smart about it, I guess, right? One thing that we do is, since we cut out all of the middlemen, what we are essentially doing is basically the value that I told you, like almost 70 to 80% is created within that, right? So as soon as we cut that off, we have a big chunk that we can actually invest back in the farmers. And what we do is we provide at least twice to 4 times the earnings to the farmers that they would get from a traditional company, right? Traditional tea company or a middleman per se. So we provide twice or at least 4 times the wages or salaries that they get. So that's one aspect of it. The second aspect of it is on Amazon, what we are essentially doing, we're not selling wholesale, which has lower margins. We're selling direct to consumers product. I can actually show you one. So this is kind of like the packet that we sell, right? So basically, again, going back to Alessio's point, everything is about stories, right? Every single packet of our tea has stories. These bamboos are, we have a lot of bamboos in our farm, and we train our farmers to weave the bamboos together. So these are handmade bamboos made by our own farms. That's an additional form of income for the farmers, that if I were to use a commercial paper box, I would be paying a bigger paper box company those dollars for the packaging. But now what I'm doing is essentially I'm empowering the farmers and paying them a bigger chunk of not just for making tea, but making the bamboo pouches, which is an additional form of income. So that's one strategy to kind of like give more, empower the farmers in a very different way. But in terms of Amazon, when you make those products in a direct to consumers model, these are all premium teas, right? So they have a pretty decent margin. So we're not, one thing we're also doing is, yes, you have to let go of a lot of margin for the product, but at the same time, you're gaining a lot of customers. You're gaining followers, or kind of people who are your cheerleaders about talking about, hey, we need to talk about transparency in the tea industry. We need to talk about this company, and they're actually essentially generating a lot of value in that way. So it's okay to give up that chunk of margins if you can build a followers of your genuine customers.
So it's about give and take. Of course, since you're able to cut a lot of people in the middle, you can afford Amazons and big tea companies of the world, and at the same time putting some money back into the farmers' pocket so that they're also happy, and also trying to add value, bring in this bamboo pouch, which will create additional income for them. That's excellent, wonderful. Thank you so much, Lindzi. This journey, okay, this journey is called customer, client, fan. Customers come and go, clients stay with it longer, and fans love you. How do you make your customers your fans?
That's a really good question. We do it through a few different ways. The first and foremost is having an excellent quality product. We want something that not only is a sweet treat and is delicious, but you love it so much that you want to keep trying more. We have a lot of different options, and people are like, okay, I love this one flavor. It was great. Now I want to try some more, right? And that's sort of how you get someone to become a customer to a client. Now, how you get them from going a client to a fan is just keep having them engage with the brand. Nish has talked a lot about making people really passionate about tea and knowing the story and knowing about the farmers. For us, it's having people know that we are an all-female owned, run, and operated business that has no funding, started from bootstraps. We are passionate. We are touching on every single aspect of the business. I know every single aspect of the business. I know where the lavender from our lavender honey marshmallows comes from, right? And it's from another female-owned small business. And so you set up these stories that people become passionate about. There's always going to be a million tea companies. There's always going to be a million pasta companies. And there are starting to become a million marshmallow companies. It feels like it's the new cupcake in a lot of ways. But where people fall in love with you and your company is your story. And so making sure that story is not only a good one that people can relate to, but that story is present in every touch point of your business. You're talking about it on your website, on your social media. It's on our packaging. We want to make sure that people know that they are not just buying a marshmallow to enjoy, they are empowering a dream. And I think people really relate to that and become our super fans.
Excellent. So that's a great piece of advice. products can be similar. Somebody can have pastas and teas and marshmallows, but stories are unique. Stories are unique, which you can bank upon. Stories are unique, which you can market well. This is the learning from Lindzi. Lindzi, you don't look like somebody who is consuming a lot of marshmallows yourself. Uh, if somebody asks you that question, what would you say?
So I actually do eat a lot of marshmallows. Because our marshmallows are handmade and gourmet, and I mentioned earlier there's no preservatives in them, they're not as terrible for you as like a traditional bag that you would get at the grocery store. One of our big rules is if you cannot pronounce the ingredient, it does not go in the marshmallow. If you do not know what the ingredient is, it doesn't go in the marshmallow. So I gave an example of lavender earlier. That's my favorite marshmallow. It's not made with a lavender extract or some lavender paste or whatever. We take lavender buds, we soak them in water, and use that water to help create the marshmallows. I also do a lot for the business, so I run around a lot. I am on my feet 90% of the day, working like 10 to 12 hours, so that's part of it. And I'm a big believer of everything in moderation. I think the people who are like, all sweets are bad, you can never have sweets, sweets are terrible. Like, no, you can have sweets, just everything in moderation. I'm not saying sit down and eat a whole bag of marshmallows, right? But enjoy them over time and use it as a way to like pick yourself up when you've had a really bad day.
Okay, excellent. That's nice. So what is your target customer, Lindzi? Kids or middle age or young folks, younger folks? Who do you target for marshmallows?
Yeah, most of our customers are brand focused millennial women who care a lot about stories. We are starting to see, not only with the millennial generation, but younger generations, that people are focused more on the story and the message behind the company. So we are focused more on those clients that we know are people who care about where things are coming from. It's probably a very similar customer who wants to know what the farmer is being paid, where the tea is coming from, where their pasta is coming from. About 70% of our clients are women. We have a very colorful, very pink brand. So, yeah.
Excellent, excellent. So you definitely are a feminist.
Oh, yes.
a proud one, right? I'm sure. Excellent. That's so nice. In this last round of discussion, I'll ask you two things. In the first round, if you guys have any question that you want to ask a fellow panelist, Alessio want to ask Lindzi, Lindzi want to ask Alessio or Nish, vice versa, this round, please go ahead and shoot the question, ask the panelist if you have any question from the other panelist. If no, I will ask my question. Excellent. Yeah.
No, I have just a question. Is that how long was the startup phase for each of you, or if you are still in a startup of your business?
I personally still feel like we are in a startup phase. I kind of feel like startup is a mentality in a way. So we still have that hustle that, I mentioned before. I don't do everything for the business. So I don't handle customer service anymore. I don't make any marshmallows or anything like that. I've got a staff of close to 15, but okay. I still have a hand in every single thing that's going on. And I think that is part of that startup mentality.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, for me, there's so much alignment with whatever you said and your story, Lindzi. I started with $200 in my bank account and a bunch of credit cards also, and did a Kickstarter also. That was my starting point. So everything has been revolving around the customers really, because they were the ones who funded the company, funded the successful Kickstarter and all of it, right? And startup phase, again, I think also it's definitely a mentality to some extent. For me, I am a one-man business here in the US. I do literally everything, but I do have a team back in Nepal that does, like, all of my products are pre-packaged and they're packaged at origin. And that's another bigger story of our tea, right? So everything is packaged there, everything comes here. And I still consider myself startup, and I would want to consider myself a startup for that hustle, even when I'm funded and whatever. Like right now, I'm preparing to fundraise to actually get into a direct-to-consumers model aggressively. And even at that phase, I will still consider myself startup. And even after that phase, when I'm successfully funded, I would want to have that mentality of a startup, even in a bigger organization, I think. What are your take on it, Alessio? I think it would be great to hear from your side as well.
Yeah, no, I feel always in a startup phase. I mean, even if with my traditional business, because I'm in the consulting business since 2004, and every new January of a new year, I feel a startupper, because I don't know what's the year will bring to me. I mean, if the revenue will be the same of the previous year or not. So every year I feel a startupper.
Cool. Yeah, I guess I was kind of like going into what would you guys think about your biggest challenge in the business so far, or your biggest achievement, whichever.
Challenge is better.
I think for me, our biggest challenge has been scaling. Because we do everything in-house. We make the marshmallows in-house, we cut them in-house, we coat them, we package them, like everything gets done, we ship them, everything's done in-house. And because we don't have the traditional outside funds to, you know, all of a sudden have like a 30,000 square foot facility where everything gets made, we get a lot of orders we have to turn down. Because we can't fulfill them. And from an owner perspective, founder perspective, that like kills me every time I have to do it, because you're not only leaving money on the table, but you know, if somebody is interested in ordering, let's say 1 million marshmallows, and they want them in 2 weeks, that's always what it is. They want it in 2 weeks, and we can't fulfill that kind of quantity in that amount of time. I also have to think about not only the amount of money we've left on the table, but how many people would have eaten those marshmallows that could have found us and helped us grow. So I think there's a lot of really fantastic, wonderful businesses or business books, podcasts, everything on starting a business, right? But there's not a lot of really good information out there on how to scale it. And so for me, the biggest challenge I deal with is how do we get from the size we are now to a larger company without millions of dollars to just push it forward and spin willy-nilly. So that's my biggest challenge.
That's great. I think really on your point, like there hasn't been much written about like scaling the business. And one of the podcasts that I really love about kind of like it's not much of a startup. It is a startup podcast, but I don't know if you listen to Masters of Scale from Reid Hoffman. That is one of the best podcasts that I've found like a little aligned to scaling in some ways. Yeah,
that's the only one I found that has some information.
Yes.
I'll give you my 2 cents on this. I'm an engineer and a lawyer. I got a couple of companies with me. I got a business coach in India. I got a business coach in the US. It's very important to have a business coach. Why I'm saying that, as entrepreneurs, we generally think that we are not answerable to anybody. So if you have a business coach, to answerable to that business coach, number 1 rule, have a business coach. Number 2, the biggest bottleneck in our business is us. I repeat, The biggest bottleneck in our business is us. For example, Lindzi just said she's all over. She's in 15 different things, trying to be in 15 different things at the same time. Because if you are everywhere, you are the bottleneck. And if you are a bottleneck, how will you scale? So that's the second thing. The moment you realize, the sooner you realize that you are the bottleneck in your business, the business starts scaling. Now, how do you remove this bottleneck? How do you remove yourself? By delegating, by trusting people. You know what they say? Henry Ford said, the smartest people in the room hire the people who are smarter than them. So if you're hiring people who are smarter than you, trust them, delegate to them, give. So if you have hired them, let them do it. So you know what? We always think that we are the best person in my team. I'm the best salesman. You will always be the best salesman in your team. And so I was doing all of this, like I was everywhere. Now then I realized if I'm adding only 5% value or 10% value to the, if I'm reviewing something, if I'm reviewing somebody's work, if I'm checking something, if I'm adding only 5% value, 10% value, let's not add that value. Let's let it go the way it is. Perfection should never be the enemy of progress. We try to perfect things and we don't progress because we want perfect things to ship. We want perfect marshmallow. We want a perfect package, perfect tea, perfect bottle of vinegar. Perfection becomes the enemy of progress, and that's why we don't scale. That's why there's bottlenecks, and that's why we stuck. And one more thing, the business coach called Brad Sugars. Brad Sugars lives in, I think he lives now in LA. Brad Sugars. He's one of the best world coaches, best business coaches in the world. He wrote about half a dozen books on business. One important thing that he focuses on is how do you put your business in autopilot? What steps do you take to put your business in autopilot that you make your money whether you get up from bed or not? Jeff Bezos makes billions of dollars whether he gets up from his bed or not. So how soon you can put your business in autopilot is something that you can learn from Brad Sugars. That was my 2 cents. I think we lost Lindzi, but anyways, I'm not sure when you lost me, but doesn't matter. It wasn't that important. No. So Brad, do a Google search on Brad Sugars. Read a couple of his books. He will tell you how to put business in autopilot mode. Excellent guy. I follow him through a T. He's an excellent business coach. Thank you. That was it. I thank you, all the 3 panelists, for having such a candid, nice, honest discussion. All of you have great visions, great missions, great problems to solve. This is a time where a lot of people can learn from your experience, your inputs, and from your learnings, from your mistakes. Thank you very much, guys. Thank you again for coming over. I wish you a fabulous week ahead. And I will.
Hi, thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you so much.
Good luck.
Thank you. Same to you. Thank you.
Good luck, everybody.
Ciao. Ciao.
Ciao. Bye.